Is YouTube promotion worth it in 2026? Let's break it down. Let's jump into it, y'all. And as always, I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm gonna be completely blunt and honest on how I feel about this topic. This topic has came up in conversation several times in the comments. And I'm gonna be honest, the first things first, one, you have to spend money to get views. And I think that doesn't align with my values. I feel like if you have to pay for something that you can earn, I rather earn it and then enjoy the fruits of my labor, But I think anything that involves buying or purchasing, views for growth, it's kind of just not doesn't align with my values. But let's break it down, right? You need 4,000 watch hours. You need 1,000 subscribers. If you're building an audience and you are buying these views or buying these, and this is going to be a little bit of a hot take because it's going to be I'm going to talk about the promote section in YouTube and also how I feel about people who are, or the rumor if they are buying views or buying subscribers, right? First things first, you have to pay. And from what I heard, when I kind of Googled, hold on, I'm doing this with my phone, so forgive me. What, you know, when I looked on Google, you have to, when you're paying for these subscribers and not subscribers, you're paying for these promotions, if you will, you are, they don't count towards your monetization. So if you're looking for a quick way to buy into views and subscribers, that's not going to work, and I'm gonna be honest with you, you're gonna spending money to get these, you know, highlighted views or subscribers. It doesn't build real audience. It doesn't build real community. So let's say, for instance, you do hit those 1,000 subscribers or you hit those watch hours. One, they don't count from the promotions, from what I understand. Two, it doesn't. Let's say, for instance, once that all dies down, what's going to end up happening is, you're going to have to do it again. And I feel like from a sustainability standpoint, it doesn't really align with my values, and also, you're gonna have to pay to play. I feel like it's just an ever so going loop. And for what I've also Googled is that, those channels usually end up being dead in the long run. And that just doesn't sit right. I feel like the human connection aspect, you talking to people, you getting an understanding, you learning how to build, you know, it just that's just me. I feel like that matters the most. I feel like, hold on, I should have, comment down below, I should have got a tripod. But seriously, I feel like you should want to build this audience off of straight grit and grind, and you being one of those people who are connected with the audience, you who are actually in the comments, you kind of building every brick, if you will, for this huge, thing that you're trying to do in the future, which is your YouTube channel. you know I feel like, buying something or even messing with your YouTube channel in that way could also stunt your growth, because what's going to end up happening is that YouTube doesn't also know how to recommend the video, because you don't know where those views are coming from. You don't know how those views are coming from. Let's say, for instance, somebody views the channel and they have an interest in cats. And, for my channel, I do mostly YouTube content. I try to motivate people. I try to get better at talking to the camera and promoting people to do the same thing. Like, I just feel like that won't align. So you won't get you people that'll come back to your channel. They won't have interest in it. Like, I'm interested in cats. Why would I want to watch motivational content? Maybe, they're not interested in that. They're not interested in how to grow on YouTube. They're not interested in seeing somebody's journey and how they're trying to grow on YouTube. And I feel like that in itself doesn't make sense to me. You know, and there's some people who may see different. I'm gonna sit down, y'all. Give me a sec. There's some people who may see that different, but I personally don't believe in that. I believe in building this from the ground up. I believe in simple systems. I believe in community. I believe in all those things. So at the end of the day, let me try to find a better spot for some better lighting. You got to forgive me, y'all. This is directly from the iPhone. Let's see, how does this look? Yeah, this is a little bit better. It doesn't align with my values. And I think paying for something to get there sooner, I would love it more if I earned it, right? Let's move on to the next one. The next one, it's misleading. It's misleading your audience. Let me explain. So let's say, for instance, every now and again there are paid promotions that are done out there with, being a YouTuber, you get the perk of working with brands and audiences and things like that. And not audiences, but with people that can help share a product to an audience. What ends up happening, which I'm learning now, is that people can, get a sponsored video, let's say for a product, and all of a sudden they could promote that video and have it pushed out, or even have it, I'm gonna cover this in a second, in another topic, but they can promote that and then get more views and then get more money. Two things here. One, you're not selling with integrity, right? You're testing a product, using a product, and people who spend their hard-earned dollars can go out and spend money on that product. What's going to end up happening is that you're going to tell people to go out and buy this product. They're going to see that it has a lot of views and is well recommended, and people are, but then they may buy that product, and it's almost like you're deceiving them. You're lying to them, because they're buying the product based on, some people buy the product based on how many people like it and how well it works and the viewership on the YouTube video. What's going to end up happening now is that product is being bought, and it's just kind of out of bad faith, and I think, it's misleading in a sense where you're telling people to buy something because of the views, because of, how you reviewed it. And that's why I try to be, and I want to be in the future, very careful how I do sponsored videos. I want to test the product for a few weeks or even a month to get an idea, use it personally before I even make a video about it. So that way you guys know that I'm being completely transparent on how I feel about the product. I think that's so important, because these are people who are working really hard with their money, and they're going out to spend the money based on what you said, how you felt about the product, what you thought of the product. I think that's just so important. And I think you should not, it's just misleading. And listen, to each his own. I personally rather work and grind and try to get better in every video and do my best. And you know what? I'm not gonna always do great. That's the part of learning. I rather fail a bunch of times instead of misleading people and losing that trust, from you guys. Let's move on to the next one. And I know this is a little bit of a different video, but I wanted to talk about this because integrity is everything to me. My name is everything to me. Doing the right thing is everything to me. I want y'all to understand. And I hope it means a lot to you, because my brand is everything. Who I am is everything. And I don't want to let you guys down. That's my thing. I want to do the right thing every single time, even if it's harder, even if it takes longer, and even if I have to be here. I'm in it for the long haul, so that doesn't matter. I'm gonna do the right thing every single time by y'all. All right, the next one is this thing that I've heard called view botting or paying for subscribers, and this is why this doesn't work. And this is a hot topic because this is also came up in the comments, and I want y'all to understand. Integrity is everything to me. It means everything, but here's why buying views and buying subscribers doesn't make sense. You're gonna buy subscribers, you're gonna buy views. Your one video may show up highly, you're gonna have all those views there. You may gain some subscribers, but those things don't count towards monetization. And if they do, YouTube is gonna catch on to it. They're gonna find out what is going on. They're gonna see those accounts are dormant or fake or have been whatever. You're gonna have a video with all these views, no comments. Engagement is what matters. It's what. Sorry, I want to make sure we're getting better lighting here so you guys can see my face. What was I saying? Engagement. Real connection. Building a real audience that will help you build this fulfilling hobby, or even business that you call YouTube. The problem with that is there's no real engagement. You're gonna have videos with like 15,000 views and like 4 to 5 comments. And I'm not saying there's anything with 4 to 5 comments, but the math ain't mathin', y'all. I'm sorry. I answer every comment, and even for myself, it's an integrity thing. I don't want to get too far into the weeds of this, but I feel like the reason why you shouldn't do these things is because once that happens, your YouTube channel your number's gonna be all over the place. The algorithm, the YouTube magic, it's not gonna work. Another thing is that, come on, man. You sit here, you hit that red button, and you mean to tell me, I'm just a I'm just a guy who likes to do that fine line, do the right thing every single time, no matter what. Even if it's harder, even if I have to start at the bottom, like even, I'm telling y'all, and kudos to everyone who's doing the right thing. And this kind of bothered me because it felt like all the hard work that we all do to kind of get in front of the camera, get that courage to hit record, upload that video, go through the process, build everything brick by brick, get people on board. And listen, it is not worth it. It is not worth it. Just the view botting, I honestly didn't know this was a thing till later on in my journey. When I was streaming on Twitch, I heard that thing was a thing, and I just was like, all right, I'll sit here, even if I have to have my mom, my brother, my cats watch my video, or whoever, or my dogs, or my fish, whoever. I'd rather have that and then build it slowly but surely, instead of going through this process of lying to people. Listen, that's self-explanatory. I don't think you should do it, because it's going to ruin your channel. It's going to ruin everything. And then you're going to be left with little to no views because the algorithm, and it's not about views, but I feel like it's confusing the algorithm. It's almost like as if YouTube can't recommend your video to other people because those accounts are not active. They're not real people. They're just dead accounts that you spent money on to get views. I know this is a really, really tough topic. And to be honest with you, the reason I'm touching on it is because I've been asked about this over and over again. And the answer is always going to be no. The answer is always going to be do the right thing, show up, be there for your audience, be creative, work hard, do these things daily so you can improve instead of trying to portray something that is not real. I just believe in integrity. Let's move on to the next one. The next thing is that what's going to happen, and this is me personally saying this, I didn't have the courage to talk to the camera, right? And it's gonna affect your personal drive, your self-esteem on YouTube. You're gonna spend money on these views. You know what's going on the other end, and then you're gonna make a regular video, and then all of a sudden, you're not gonna get any views. Your video's not gonna be recommended because you don't have any real people. Your tribe is based on supporting each other, being courageous, being thankful, being humble, being real, connecting. Human connection is so important to me. What's going to happen is that it's going to affect your self-esteem. You're going to feel as if like, wow, I got all these views here, it happens. You get a viral video, that can really happen. Not saying it can't. However, later on in this process, you may not pay for view botting or promoting or whatever YouTube offers, and it, then you're gonna be in this space where, personally, will make you feel like, damn, I can get views on this video, and now I'm doing this other video, and all of a sudden now they don't like the video. They're like, oh, you're not gonna get any engagement. And this is just my real honest hot take about it. Not to say that, this isn't a space, and I'll touch on that in a future step. But honesty, like, you're gonna eventually feel like you're gonna feel low. You're gonna feel like, oh, I can't do this without spending. I can't get views, and eventually, psychologically, you're gonna want to stop. And then you're gonna have this camera, you're gonna have this money you spent on views, and it's just I know it's a slippery slope, but it just feels disingenuous to me. It all just doesn't sound good, doesn't feel good to me. I can't explain it, but it just doesn't align with me. But you eventually will feel like, I can't really do this. You're gonna stop. You're just not gonna want to create content on YouTube, and then that's just gonna stop the whole process. This is all gonna be for nothing. You can't. My friend told me this: slow motion is better than no motion. You have to take those. You got to do those 10,000 hours, and I don't mean that literally, but you got to put in that time. You got to put in those 10,000 reps. You got to do those 10,000. I'm not saying 10,000. I'm just using that because this is what he told me. You got to put in that time. You got to put in that time to record. You got to get a better understanding of, talking to the camera. Right now, I have a bunch of people that are walking around doing exercise around me and stuff like that and in the park. And I'm literally talking on my phone. I'm using my phone to film this because I want to also, sorry, there was like a bee or something. I also want y'all to understand that you can just use what you have. You don't have to spend money. You could just use your phone. You've had that all this time. You've always had it in your pocket. You've always done these things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've always filmed on your phone. You always made FaceTime calls. You always done these things. I don't know what my camera's doing. It's all right. But you know what I'm saying? You got to understand that. And sorry for my thumb in the way. I'm like holding this with one hand, and I want y'all to understand. All you need is your phone. But long story short, I know I'm ranting, but this is a tough topic, and I feel like for people who are doing the right thing, it's almost like, I'm gonna be respectfully, I feel like it's a slap in the face to me, to you, how hard you work. But anyway, I'm gonna, I know this is a little bit of a downer video, but I want to motivate y'all at the same time. Do what you do daily. Make those videos, record, talk about how you feel. Get those reps in. Practice, talking to the camera. Practice, if you write scripts, practice writing scripts. Practice thinking of ideas of where to film. I was like here walking in the park, and I was like, this is a perfect time to make a video, because I had got a comment. I was like, this doesn't align with my values, and one of my friends saw it and was like, yo, what do you think about this? And I'm like, this is a great idea to make a video. So I left them and I was like, I'm gonna just make a video about this because I really want to talk about it. Even if it's messy, do those things, create, practice, be astute to the craft, in which is understanding how to use a camera, or even create on YouTube, or even marketing, or whatever it is that you want to do, creating a business around this, practice those things. That's what matters. Sorry, there's a truck right here. So if you hear that truck, I have noise cancellation, but you know what? We're just going to roll with it. Be in the moment when it comes to this whole process. When you sit down and you turn on that camera, or you're feeling compelled to turn on the camera, I think that's important. And at the same time, doing this the right way is important to me as well. And the last thing, before we do, I know you made it this far to the video. I know it's a little bit of a longer one. Drop a like on the video, subscribe. We are on our way to 10K, y'all. We are on our way to 10K. And I'm telling y'all, it is amazing. I'm so thankful. Seriously. All right. So the last one, when is it right to promote, on YouTube? And I'm gonna be honest with you, for the content aspect and what we do, or what I may do, I don't want to say we, but as a normal creator, just a normal guy with a camera, I think never. I don't think it's ever a time. And some people may disagree, and that's okay. That's why we have options. We have chocolate and we have vanilla. We have gray shirts, we have black shirts, we have white uptowns, we got black uptowns. But I just think personally, I won't ever use it. I'm gonna just sit here, grind, even if it takes me whatever it takes. To me, the journey is the destination. And that's what matters to me, not cheating myself into it. I just, the only time I can personally think when it makes sense to promote, the only time, and this doesn't align with me because I'm not, let's say you're a business owner, maybe on Instagram, or you're having a giveaway or some sorts, you want to promote it. But even then, it still feels kind of like a cheat, I feel like interacting with your audience, making videos, doing live streams, doing YouTube shorts is promotion enough. Interacting with the comments, talking to your friends in the comments, your community, or even actively using YouTube posts. Anyway, do me a favor, drop a like on the video. I love to hear your thoughts. Also subscribe if you haven't already, because I would love to know how you feel about this subject matter. Personally, it's not for me. Anyway, I love to hear your thoughts. See you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Peace.